edition of our Watch Along on Premier Sport Fan Center. And we are reaching you live from our studios in Lagos. It's a wet Sunday here in Lagos, Nigeria. And today we have the first North London derby, talking about the match between Aston and Tottenham, one of the fiercest rivals in English football. My name is Adeyemi Shegun, and I'll be your host for today's edition of our Watch Along program. But I'm not in the studio alone, as I have with me Yemite, who happens to be a Chelsea fan, and I have Solomon, who happens to be he's not really an Aston fan, but sometimes you have to be an Aston fan. So good afternoon, guys, and you're welcome to the studio.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And to our guests at home, also our viewers at home, we're also saying good afternoon to you guys. Let's just hope we enjoy these 4 matches that we're having at 2 p.m. talking about the game between Aston and Tottenham, Brighton and Bournemouth, Chelsea and Aston Villa, and Liverpool against West Ham. It promises to be, interesting 90 minutes of football. Our focal match would be the match between Arsenal and Tottenham and Chelsea against Aston Villa, while we'll be going to other centers to give you results and moments as it happens in those games. Currently, the game between Arsenal and Tottenham is in the 12th minute, and the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa is also in the 12th minute, approaching the 13th minute. Almost 13 minutes in every centers, but we are yet to get a goal in all centers. Arsenal-Tottenham, we know how big of a rivalry these two teams are. What are you guys' expectations for this match today?
All right, a lot of expectation. The North London derby, though they have history, a lot of history. 194 derby, North London derby between Tottenham and Arsenal. It has been a very long rivalry between these two sides. And we are not talking about the history of it any longer. We are talking of what is happening presently. That is the English Premier League 2023/2024 season. What matters is the form of the two teams right now. We know both of the teams have
And Tottenham have come back from after drawing the first game, 4 wins on the bounce, while Arsenal have won 4 games and drawn 1, which leaves both teams on 13 points. Yemi, I want you to talk about the form at which Tottenham are coming into the season. It has actually been a long time we've seen Tottenham, start a season this fantastic, and they're actually looking strong under the new coach.
Yeah, I think for a few years now, especially the season Jose Mourinho started, and the former Wolves coach started too.
Yeah.
I think they hit the ground running too as early as possible. It was in the process of the season they started falling apart. So when you now look at this. Well, if we realistically analyze the situation right now, you look at the quality of the opponent Tottenham has faced. They faced Burnley, they faced mostly lower teams. Even Manchester United, you can't consider them as a big team right now. They're one of those average teams in England, based on performance on the field. So when you now look at this whole thing, you just have to realize that, hey, it's a game of anybody can win, because whenever it comes to derby, form is thrown out of the window, because it is bitter rivalry, especially North London derby. It's a fixture that they don't take lightly. So anyone who wins the game today will have the bragging right till the next meet. So I think this game is open. The two of them, they are playing attacking football. So we are in for an interesting game.
Okay, right, in for an interesting ride. And when you look at it in a long time, talking about, for the first time in like 10 to 15 years.
But it was there last season.
I'm talking about a long season whereby we are not seeing Harry Kane, present in the North London derby. 50 minutes of action already in the game between Tottenham and Arsenal. Is still 0-0 and still 0-0 in every other centers. Let's go straight to the starting 11 of Arsenal. David Raya continues in goal post for Arsenal today. He has actually been fantastic in his first game for Arsenal, and we saw him in the Champions League against PSV. He gave a good account of himself, and he's back.
Clean sheet.
Yes, another clean sheet, and he's back starting against Tottenham. What does that sound, or what does that say to Aaron Ramsey?
It just tells him that you need to do your job. When you do your job, the job is the coach is the judge. So it is based on performance. I think what Arteta is trying to do is just keep the 2 goalkeepers on their feet, so that if one drops from, you see, in a football, be at your best. You won't be lackadaisical. like the way it did Europa League
I
last
can
season.
hear that from me. I mean, you have to be at your best when you're playing, and Arsenal has a corner kick in the 16th minute of this game, and that was coming courtesy of a mistake from Udoji, but the Tottenham goalkeeper was able to defend and keep that out, and Arsenal has to take a long shot into the midfield. Straight to the, and Tottenham that will be a foul against Tottenham. They were almost turning defense into attack in that moment. 70 minutes, sorry, of this game I've been seeing, and it has actually been, you know, an end-to-end stuff, both in playing attack.
It's a very difficult match because right now, in fact, I just want to watch good football. I'm not supporting anybody. I just want to watch good football because I love this philosophy of Postecoglou, what he has brought into. Despite the fact that they are unbeaten in the EPL, and they played just newly promoted side Sheffield United.
It's always a big test when you're playing against Arsenal. North London is always a big.
So to me, it's a big test for both sides. Though we've seen Arsenal defeated Manchester United, and we've also seen Tottenham defeated Manchester United. Tottenham defeated Manchester United 2-0, while Arsenal defeated Manchester United 2-1. So both of them have
EPL, and that is coming from Liverpool against West Ham. Mo Salah, talking about the talisman Mohamed Salah. You know, he loves scoring against West Ham. If there's a team he picks very much to score against, it is West Ham. And we have the first goal from today's EPL matches, and that is coming from the Liverpool against West Ham. 70 minutes gone in that game. It's Liverpool 1, West Ham 0. Back to the game between Arsenal and Tottenham, going straight to the starting 11 of Arsenal. Arsenal currently playing their familiar or their favorite 4-3-3 formation. David Raya in goal post. Benjamin White keeps his position as a right back. William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, you know, at the two central back, while there's Zinchenko on the left. This team today, Fabio Vieira is in the starting 11. Is there any fear for Kai Havertz right now?
Yeah, I think he should raise his game because you know, Kai Havertz is a bit slow to me. I think he needs to work more on the technique. Your team needs you to be very fast, and you need to come to the party. So I think he needs some improvement on his game personally, because for now I think it's beginning to look more like Arteta prefers Vieira to him.
Okay, it's looking very much likely like Arteta prefer Vieira. Pairing of Bissouma and Pape Matassa, while up front they have Dujan Kuluvesky, James Maddison, and Brennan Johnson, while up front they have Heung-min Son. You know, is it looking like a good score, good starting 11 for Tottenham coming into this game?
Of course, it's looking very good, most especially when you have, Songs as the last man. You know, he took over from Harry Kane, and he has been living up to expectation. Despite the fact he's not scoring much goal, but we've seen him come to the party. And the inclusion, one inclusion in Tottenham that is so pivot is Maddison behind Son.
Behind Son.
Yeah, behind Son. It has been also from the right side. Those three combination is always good for Tottenham, and it helped them so much. And talking about the defense, I think they've been able to solidify their defense to some extent with the inclusion of Van der Vaart there, and you have Romero there, and Pedro Porro also from Spain, and Odoji already
0 with Chelsea doing more of the attacking work, but yet to break, you know, through the top Aston Villa defense line. And it's Arsenal also still playing 0-0 in the 21st minute of that encounter. Arsenal still looking very much likely to get the lead. They are playing at home at the Emirates Stadium, so it's a familiar ground. Don't forget the Champions League after 6 years absence. Straight to the game between Liverpool and West Ham. Liverpool are starting with a 4-3-3 formation. Also, Alisson in goal post. There's Joe Gomez as the right back, Joel Matip and Van Dijk as a favourite pairing today, and Andrew Robertson as the left. McAllister and Curtis Johnson. While up front, they start with Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, and Mohamed Salah, the goal scorer. 4-3-3 formation for Liverpool today.
You know, fine formation for Liverpool. You know, we always give it to them. When you talk about Jurgen Klopp, you have a way of selecting. And already they are leading 1-0. That goal was scored by Mo Salah through a penalty kick. And that is a good one. And if you look at their lineup, their tactical formation here is very, very, very sweet.
That was a clear chance, good chance for Chelsea, but Jackson couldn't keep that on the feet, and Chelsea has a corner kick there. Good pass from Miyako Modric there, but Jackson couldn't make a good end result out of that. And Chelsea has a corner kick in the 20 as a throw into Chelsea. Miracle Modric is with the ball there, trying to take the throw in for Chelsea, but it will take all his time, and he has dropped that ball for another player. And then the game between Tottenham and Arsenal, it might just be a yellow card for Madison there. Let's just see what the referee will be deciding there, as there was a foul there. It was actually a wicked foul on the Arsenal player there. Again, Udoji is down there. You can see the Tottenham players, they are all looking and waiting for the referee decision, talking about in that game.
All right, talking about it, my Chelsea match, we saw another clear-cut chance for Jackson. He fumbled it again. And those are some of the things we've been talking about Chelsea, and that is one of those complaints a lot of people. He need to up his game, he need to be clinical. And right now, Bournemouth just scored against Brighton. That goal was called by Solanke in a shocking goal. Anyway, that is a very good one. So he should be using his chances.
But the Gaffer.
And there's a goal in the game between Arsenal and Tottenham. Bukayo Saka with the first goal. 1-0 for Arsenal in the 25th minute. And that is the Arsenal talisman. You're talking about Bukayo Saka. He is always up to the task for his team. 1-0 Arsenal in the 25th minute. Oh, Bukayo Saka with the first goal there.
Yeah, good one. You know, he's a usual suspect when it comes to games like this. He's fast becoming a big player for big games. You know, there are some big players that mostly they only turn up in this.
A good movement from Bukayo Saka there. Take on his man, cut in, and that was a wicked deflection there. But that was actually, it should be registered as an own goal. But good movement from the young man, talking about Bukayo Saka.
And that's a chance for Chelsea. What can Justin do with it?
A goalkeeper. And talking about the game between Arsenal and Tottenham, 25 minutes of action already. It's 1-0 to Arsenal. Arsenal currently leading off that wicked deflection from Tottenham defender. And back to the game between Liverpool and West Ham. West Ham started this game with a 4-2-3-1 formation. And
you know, when you want to express, you know, one of the best ways to face a 4-3-3 attacking team formation is for you to also play expressive like them, either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, so that it will be man for man on the field of play, and it will bring about a very interesting game of football.
Okay, to bring a very interesting game of football to West Ham starting 11. They're starting with Afonso Areola in goal post, while in defense there is Emerson Pereira, Agard, Kozuma is the captain for West Ham today, and there's Kofai who make up the four-man defense, while in midfield they have Edson Alvarez and Soshek in defensive midfield, while up front they have Jared Bowen, James Ward-Prowse and Lucas Paqueta, while up front is a low-man striker, talking about James Ward-Prowse. And that is the talking about up front they have just one low-man striker, talking about Michel Antony. Let's see if West Ham will be bouncing back from that goal deficit in that game. It's still Arsenal 1, Tottenham 0 in the 27th minute, and Chelsea 0, Aston Villa 0 in the 27th minute, also in that encounter. You know, Chelsea, they've actually been struggling to get goals. It has actually been a problem for Pochettino and his boys. What do you think he needs to do to get those goals?
Yeah, one thing is, I think one of the issues that happened with Chelsea was the direction he was going was stopped by injuries. Because the players he was working with got injured. So he had to switch. So for him to switch, this a few games for them to gel, to start streaming in goals and all. But I think with the good news that I think later this month or early next month, some of those players will be back. And I think Chelsea will still come back into this league season stronger than ever. And we hope they can at least push for Europa League or even a Champions League.
Okay, you can hear that from Yemite. You expect Chelsea to come back stronger this season. And the season is actually still very long, 32 more matches to go in the EPL. So there's still a lot of sports to pick. And talking about Chelsea, we'll be here to see where they end at the end of season. I'll straight to Chelsea starting 11. Pochettino went with a 4-2-3-1 formation today. That's not a good chance for Aston Villa. But Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, was able to cover that very well. And he has actually, you know, after starting very somehow poorly, he has actually redeemed himself at Chelsea, talking about Robert Sanchez.
Yeah, of course, you know, there's something we call match fitness. game fitness. When you keep playing back to back, you keep improving. Except the class is not there. Because class is permanent, form is temporary. So when you look at
that's
it,
another chance for Arsenal. They're going straight into the box with this bit. The second goal for Arsenal.
Oh,
that was a good defensive clearance from Tottenham there. And Van der Vaart was able to clear that very well. I think he scored the own goal there. So I think
it was
Romero. It was Romero who scored the own goal for Arsenal to give Arsenal the lead in that encounter.
Before you talk, we know we're talking about Roberto Sanchez. I was one of those who wondering what kind of goalkeeper they went to board, but he was able to convince me to some extent in the last match when I saw a couple of saves he made for Chelsea, and now he has brought it not bad. He has brought it now to this very encounter too. If he continue like this, at least we'll be happy with him that he's a good goalkeeper. But let him keep it up and convince us that he's a good goalkeeper.
Expectation that will make you see him as a good goalkeeper. Arsenal has a corner kick, and let's see if that will be turning in to be the second goal and start some minutes of action already in this encounter. Bukayo Saka is standing over that corner kick, and he'll be taking it any moment from now. But Pochettino and Unai Emery, coming into this game with 4-2-3-1 formation.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1 formation, diamond formation. And we've seen Tottenham to be a team that attacks.
Aston Villa and Chelsea.
Okay, Aston Villa and Chelsea. Yeah, we've seen that, see, when you are playing in a particular way and it's not working, then you twerk things. So I think Pochettino twerking things to the 4-2-3-1 formation, I think is a plus. Because you can actually allow Mudryk and the other pacey wingers that we have to actually run down the wings, and which has given a lot of more, it has given Mudryk more space to run into defenders and actually create something out of it.
But how do we explain Chelsea having 3 natural left back on the bench? Talking about here, Massin, there's Cucurella, and there's Chilwell. But we're still starting, or your team is still starting with Levi Colwill, a natural central back as a left back.
Yeah, it depends on how you want your defense to set up. Sometimes you just want a number 3 that will stay, that won't really attack, that will do more.
That's the chance for Arsenal. And Gabriel Jesus should be doing better there. And Tottenham defenders needs to be very much careful there, because they gave that out, and that was Maddison who gave that out in a wicked and dangerous position. Onto the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa. Starting 11, Robert Sanchez is the goalkeeper for Chelsea, and in defense there's a position for Malo Gusto in right back. Heza Disasi and Thiago Silva the preferred central back pairing, while Levi Colwill starts as a left back. In midfield there's Moises Caicedo and Conor Gallagher, who is the standing captain for Chelsea today. Up front there's Raheem Sterling, Enzo Fernandez, and Mikhailo Modric. While up front there is a space for Nicholas Jackson. We're still looking forward to adding to his just 1 goal tally in EPL. Straight to Aston Villa starting 11. Their goalkeeper is Emiliano Martinez. While in defense they have Lucas Diagne, Paul Torres, Ezzy Konsa, and Matty Cash. While in midfield there's Douglas Luiz, Boubacar Kamara, and up front there's John McGinn, Moussa Diaby, and Nicolo Zaniolo. While there's a low-man striker, Oli Watkins. It's a game between Oli Watkins and Nicholas Jackson. Let's see how much they are going to come into this game. And Tottenham in the game between Tottenham and Arsenal, 35 minutes of action already, and Tottenham are still pushing an equalizer in that game. Let's see if they'll be able to get that all-important equalizer. In other centers, the scoreline still remains the same. Liverpool are still 1 goal up against West Ham. Chelsea against Aston Villa is still 0-0. Brighton are losing at home, surprisingly, against Bournemouth 1-0. And Arsenal are still at 1 goal up against Tottenham in the 35th minute. You can also be a part of this conversation by dropping your live message, your observations or chats in the live chat. We promise to read that. And don't forget to also subscribe to our channel talking about Premier Sport Fan Center, where we give you all analysis and top-notch analysis of various matches around Europe, and not just Europe, around the world of football. And back to the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa, 0-0. Are they living up to expectations? Yeah,
the game, I think if you look at the Chelsea team, I think the synergy is beginning to come together. It's just the finishing that is remaining. And since the guys are beginning to understand each other, I think the point at which he switched to this 4-2-3-1, we saw him play this formation against Bournemouth. And I think it suits those guys better. He can always switch as per game progresses. Like maybe injury comes up, you can tweak your formation. You can, even if some players are not available, you can tweak your formation. So it should not be the rigid 3-4-2-1 he started with. And I think this one is a lot better. Okay,
same with saying this was a lot better. Still 0-0, and the changes, the scorelines are not changing in the centers. Arsenal leading 1-0 against Tottenham, you know, in the 37th minute already. Are they living up to expectation? Is this what you actually expect from Arsenal coming into this game?
Of course, they are living up to expectation, but right now we can't say it is over yet because we've seen a lot of surprises in football. We've seen clubs win first half, and the second half they trash 3-0. And remember, Tottenham is not is a very big team. It's one of the top 5 in. It used to be one of the top 5 in England, and anything can happen. And from their previous exploit, we know they have actually come together and they are now playing like a team with this philosophy. And we've seen them not just today. They've come back after being even after 2-0. They came back and they equalized. You know what I'm saying? In the previous matches they played, and we will not be surprised today. Just like we saw Barcelona versus Celta Vigo, 2-0 down. And Barcelona came and won that match. This is just 1-0, and it is first half. So anything can still happen. But to me, Arsenal have actually put a very brilliant display of football right here with what we are seeing with the move of Saka. Though it was a deflection goal, but it was a beautiful move also.
Okay, that was a deflected goal. It was actually a deflected goal for Bukayo Saka. And straight out of the EPL to the La Liga, where we have Real Sociedad, who are 3-2 up against Getafe in the 70th minute. Inter Milan earlier today defeated Empoli 1-0, and Atlanta are 1 goal up against Cagliari in the 36th minute. Udinese are losing 1-0 against Fiorentina in the 37th minute. And still to come, we have Bologna against Napoli, where we want to see if our own talking about Victor Osimhen can add to his goal tally. Back to the game between Arsenal and Tottenham. 1-0, 38 minutes. It's still 1-0 in the game between Bournemouth and Brighton, and still 0-0 between.
And talking about the Brighton, the goal Bournemouth scored, that was a terrible, terrible mistake from the goalkeeper. He wants to set a pass defensively, you know, playing from the back, playing from the back. He wanted to set the
Everybody wants to play from the back now, even though they don't have it.
No, that is actually the new wave of formation. Yeah. That is what all coaches are trying to do, play from the back. Okay, you can hear that from Yemite. He believes that goal was the goalkeeper error. Yeah, and yesterday we saw Andre Onana, he gave a very good account of himself. Clean sheet against Burnley. Though not a very good performance from Manchester United, but they did everything possible, and they did what was actually very much important, which is scoring, and they won that game 1-0.
Yeah, you have to give it to Onana, because when you take responsibility, it takes something, it brings something into you. You want to improve. That means the first step to growth is first admitting that there's an error inside of you that you need to correct. And he took that interview after the Bayern match, said that the team lost because of him, that they should be patient with him, and they came good yesterday. You saw his performance, we all saw his performance, spot-on performance from him. And I think we have a better goalkeeper at our hands.
Okay, let's just hope he'll be able to redeem his image come the end of the season. He has considered 12 goals already, in 6 matches.
Yes, when you check it, I think it's only 1 or 2 that you say. I just think it's that Bayern one that you think is Onana's fault. The rest are defensive error. Look at those Brighton 3 goals. What were the defenders looking at? Giving those players those kind of space in the box. And they tend to blame the goalkeeper. How? So we need to call a spade a spade. The defense of Manchester United, they might even have considered more, if not for Evans that came into the defense yesterday, that brought calmness and arrangement into their defensive lines. Yeah. So if you look at it very well, it's not really Onana's fault totally. The defense has been terrible.
Okay, talking about the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa, 40 minutes of action already, and Chelsea currently lead with ball possession at 53%, while Aston Villa has just 47% of the ball. Total shot, Aston Villa has better with 5 total shots, while Chelsea has 3 shot on target. Aston Villa has 3 shots on target, while Chelsea has just 2 shots on target. Corner kicks, Aston Villa they've played 6 corner kicks in the first half, while Chelsea have played just 4 corner kicks in this first half. And total passes completed, Chelsea have completed 205 passes, while Aston Villa has completed 171 passes in this first half. It's looking like, you know, a game of both ends. Both teams actually sizing each other off in the midfield.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about the midfield, I think it's a balance. That is where one of the strengths of Chelsea right now. Chelsea are good when it comes to midfield. They are also not too excellent in the defense, but we give them to a pass mark, more than a pass mark. You know, their major challenge right now, it is the forward, the finishing. That is the major problem. But I want to give credit to the attack, to the forward of Aston Villa. It is one of the most creative attacks so far I have seen. It's just that they've not gotten an opportunity. And if Chelsea didn't take care, you will see they will get a lot of surprise from Aston Villa, because the combination of the lineup of Aston Villa, it is fantastic. Where you have Watkins, you have Zanola, you have Daly, you have McGinn. You know, even sometimes Douglas Lewis come to the party to assist them. You know what I'm saying? So they are so formidable, and if they want to score, they score more than 1 goal in a match. So Chelsea should be mindful of the attack of Aston Villa, or else they will concede a lot of goals.
Okay, you can hear that from the gaffer. Chelsea defenders need to be very much careful of the attack of Aston Villa. Straight to the game between Arsenal and Tottenham. 42 minutes. We have an equalizer in the game between Tottenham and Aston Villa. Tottenham has equalized in the 42nd minute, and that goal from
Son.
Who else than Heung-min Son.
Yeah.
Good great goal from the Korean to give Tottenham the equalizer late into the first half.
Yeah, I said like, it's expectedly, because when you see games like this, you see the way the two teams play. We are in for goals. And when goals comes into games, it makes it interesting for us to cheer and be happy about. So let's just hope that more goals comes in, and we can be able to really water our appetite.
And like I say, there's a big chance here for Chelsea. Maybe we'll begin to sing Hallelujah chorus, but that has been chopped off.
Okay. Straight to ball possession. Arsenal has the better share.
It's chopped off again.
No problem. Talking about the game between Arsenal and Tottenham, Arsenal have the better share of ball possession as late as 42 minutes of this game, with Arsenal having 58% of ball possession, while it reduces Tottenham to 42% of ball possession. Total shots, Arsenal has 7, Tottenham has 6. While total shot on targets has been 3 apiece for both teams. Corner kicks, we've seen just 4 corner kicks in this game. 3 for Tottenham, 1 for Arsenal. 1 for Arsenal, and 3 corner kicks for Tottenham. And total pass in this game, I just hope I'm not giving it to each other. Okay, total passes in this game. Let's see how many passes Arsenal have been able to complete in this game. Arsenal have completed Arsenal were able to complete 152 passes, while Tottenham have completed 216 passes in this game. It's looking like a game that Tottenham is actually dominating for the past some minutes in this game, probably for the past 10 minutes. 58% of ball possession in favor of Tottenham, and they've reduced Arsenal to 42% of ball possession right there at the Emirates Stadium.
Yeah, you know that when you concede, the next thing to do is to react. And that's the reaction you see from Tottenham.
And there's a goal in the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa. Let's just hope that wasn't chalked off, like the gaffer actually said. But I'm seeing confirmation in the photo that was actually chalked off. 0-0.
And you can see West Ham look like they are good to equalize.
And they've just equalized.
West Ham have just equalized.
West Ham have just equalized against Liverpool. In that game, it's Liverpool 1. West Ham 1. In the 45th minute, all centers are in the 45th minute except for Liverpool center, which is still in the 41st minute of that encounter. Tottenham against Arsenal is 1-1. Any moment from now, we'll be seeing regulation time at the time, and we've seen added time already being added in the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa. 0-0 at 45+ minutes, and it might just be the way this game will end in the first half.
Well, it's looking good. 1-1 for Tottenham, Arsenal. It's looking good. I said it before, that matches like this, don't score once, don't start celebrating, because your opponent will come after you. And most especially Tottenham, I know them, they are good when they are good in coming back. We've seen them in several occasions, they came back. And I was also saying it about West Ham. They are also good. They are the Conference League champion, right?
Yeah.
They're the Conference League champion. We saw how they fought. And they are not pushed over. They actually come to the party and they equalized, and that goal was equalized by Gerald Bowen, age 26, from England, a forward man, and that's a good one. We expect to see more goals from them. And for the match between Chelsea, Chelsea had a very big chance, but they didn't get it. So we hope to see them come to the party to score goals. That is just what is left. That's what is left for Chelsea, to score goals.
Yemi, at what point are you guys going to be, start putting pressure on Nicholas Jackson? We saw Chelsea spend a lot of money in the transfer window, but the question on everybody's lips is, how do you spend a lot of money and you can get a prolific striker?
Okay, when you look at this, you have to first look at the project. What is the project? You sign players that are under 25. Now, in football, how many teams that are winning is the players that lead the team are less than 25? How many teams? Now, when you want to succeed in football, it's a mixture of young and old. It's a mixture of growing players and experienced players. So, see, where Chelsea is at
There's
now.
another goal. Brighton just equalized against Bournemouth.
We have a goal in that game between Brighton and Bournemouth. It's Brighton 1, Bournemouth 1. Very late into the first half, which means all centers, and Liverpool have scored the second goal before going into the halftime break there, and it's 2-1 in the game between Liverpool and West Ham. That was an immediate response from Liverpool to score that second goal, and straight to the game between Brighton and Bournemouth. The equalizer was scored by Bournemouth in the 46th minute of that encounter. Fantastic response from them. We saw them lose in the UEFA Europa League 3-2 during the week, and they're back here, having scored the equalizer. Do you see them turning this game all around?
When they scored against Brighton, I was wondering what actually went wrong, because I was actually tweeting at Brighton to win, and it's like the goal Liverpool scored has been chopped off.
Yeah.
It's not giving.
It's not going to start.
So let's see what the referee's final decision will be. So it's a good one that they are able to equalize this goal, and I think the goal is an own goal, own goal by Kakes, by Kakes.
And it's so sweet that though other teams score, we are all playing halftime draw.
Halftime draw. All centers talking about England. 1-1 in the game between Tottenham and Aston. 1-1 in the game between Brighton and Bournemouth. 0-0 at halftime in the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa. 1-1 in the game between Liverpool and West Ham at halftime.
And surprisingly, Feyenoord is whooping Ajax 3-0 at halftime.
I can hear that from mates. Halftime also in Serie A, Atlanta. I won't go up against Cagliari, while Udinese are still losing 1-0 against Fiorentina. Back to the EPL, where all centers are currently in halftime. We've seen 45 minutes of action from those 4 teams in EPL. What do you think their coaches should be telling the players, in the dressing room?
Yeah, I think for the Arsenal game, Arsenal just have no business playing a draw in this game. They are playing at home, so they need to make the home advantage count. They need to keep Tottenham at the defense as much as possible. Let them have the lesser percentage of the ball, and just try to get a goal.
Okay, talking about the game between Chelsea and Aston Villa, I'm coming to you, the Gaffer. 0-0. What do they need to do in the second half to get these goals?
That's the only goal we've not seen. That's the only game we've not seen a goal. I think there's 3 goals in this out of the 4 matches. There's 3 teams that is playing goal right now. That is both teams to score, and it's just Chelsea and Aston Villa that we are still waiting for. And already, I know a lot of Chelsea fans, they have moved their hope from getting like those days when Chelsea will score 3, 4, 5 goals in a match, and somebody scoring hat-trick. They will begin to dream whether there's any hat-trick in the name of any of the Chelsea players right now, because goal hardly come by when Chelsea play match. And there's hardly you get to 2.5, because they will be Defensively, Chelsea is good, and that is why you see their opponent cannot score them very well. The problem is if they can get this goal, 1-2 goal, and you go back to your defense, fantastic. You know, so I want to give it to West Ham also for coming back against Liverpool. You know, I know Liverpool is very in form right now. They're in form, very, very much in form. And I also know that West Ham too is not a pushover. And 1-1 now, but I know at the end of there's going to be a winner in this encounter. But we don't know who is going to be the winner because the matches right now, they are very, very tight. Arsenal Tottenham, very tight match. Brighton Bournemouth tight, Chelsea Aston Villa tight, Liverpool West Ham, very, very tight matches. So, but I just hope that there will not be much draws at the end of the match.
As it stands right now, Manchester City are widening the gap because they currently have 18 points from 6 games. You know, that is maximum point for Pep Guardiola and his boys. Is there catching? Is it possible anybody is catching on Manchester City this season? Yeah,
it's very possible because football is all about league football is a marathon game. More injuries can set in. You know, players can go off from. A lot of things can happen. So it's still a long season. It's just 6 games into the season, and they are still going to 38 matches. So it's still a long way to go. Okay. Anything can still happen.
Everything can still happen. Still a long way to go. And as it stands right now, at halftime, Tottenham are still second with 14 points. Liverpool are third with 14 points. Arsenal are also fourth with 14 points. While there is Brighton who are fifth with 13 points.
And Arsenal are what? Fourth. Okay.
Arsenal are fourth with 14
points. Okay, they are gradually coming
points.
Down.
No, they all have them. The 3 of them
they were fifth before.
It doesn't matter. We are there on the table.
they were fifth before.
And your Chelsea are currently 14th with 6 points from 6 games.
No, the game is not over.
They are currently.
Yeah, they are currently 14th. It's a new project actually. New owners, everybody new. I think you should give Chelsea some credit. If other teams can go through this and get relegated, it's a big one. How many teams have survived a whole nation banning a team and restricting their finances?
That happened, you know, some time ago.
That's not some time. Last year.
Yeah, now in a new
early
era.
last year.
Now in a new era.
It's
so
just like 1 season old.
That should be an excuse for your team.
It's just. I know the just shall live.
He spent close to 1 billion. You know,
on how many players?
A lot of players.
Chelsea
Priorities was just the issue for Chelsea.
No, it's not about priorities. It's about the project. They were bringing in young players without experience. So I think that experience is one key factor in Chelsea's current form.
Okay, you can hear that from him. Yeah, mate. I will be going. Okay, back to the game between Arsenal and Tottenham. It's halftime in that encounter. 1-1. Any moment from now, we'll be going for a breather, whereby we'll be seeing what the fans are saying on the streets of Lagos on their team. But before we go for that breather, let's go back to some of the moments in that game. You know, we saw the goal scored by Tottenham. How much do you think that is going to affect Christian Romero?
The goal scored by Arsenal. The goal scored by, and you consider that goal, and you can't really blame him. He did what he could.
Wow, that was a good save, right?
You saw the save from David Raya there. This is one of the reasons why he's starting over Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going for that break.
That was a good down. That was a good goal. And you can see the Chinese people, they are happy. I know, talking about Son, you know, you see the Chinese, they are always in support of him. The Japanese, whenever they see him, sometimes they come with their country flag to support him. He has his own supporters there. I think such thing motivates him to do more when he plays for Tottenham. And it's a good one, that is a hurricane. And if cares not to keep, probably he's going to get a brace in this match today.
Okay, let's say we'll be getting that brace, and he's not a newcomer when it comes to playing against Arsenal. He also gets a good number of goals against the Gunners. When we come back from this break, it's going to be the second half.